So at which point does a professional banker in a corporate setting sets out to become an entrepreneur and says to himself that I can do this, I can own this?
I was an entrepreneur to start with, I think, because I started with Bank Negara 4 years, and then I decided to set up a practice. And that is, I think, my first very entrepreneurial step. Thinking of your own practice, with my wife as secretary and office boy. She lasted only 2 weeks because I didn't fire her, she fired me. Anyway, that's the first step, entrepreneur. So I had that entrepreneurship thing in me. And joining after that practice going to the bank was also another step. It was not to become, it was really a challenge. It was becoming a bit of passion because I was sitting on the board there for about, as a non-executive for a few years, so I get a feeling about the banking business. It was good. And when I went into banking, I had to cut my income substantially, but I did it, because there was a passion there.
There was a passion to build a business, or
yeah, of course. At the time, to build the Maybank, that period of 10 years I was there, was a.
So Maybank was at that time in its entrepreneurial phase,
yes,
in the 1960s.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think, I know Maybank benefited from my entrepreneurial thing. We really expanded those days, great way. Then, of course, after that spell, the bank is then I've gone to the corporate side, the corporate world, and that was the other
aspect, which you needed to put certainty and process, which wasn't your forte.
It was a corporate world, but I had the banking thing inside. I was trying to acquire something, and I managed to acquire at that time the Arab Malaysian Merchant Bank.
In that regard, anyone who is entering the banking industry today, and what you saw at that time as being an entrepreneurial opportunity,
yes,
it's no longer an entrepreneurial opportunity today, is it?
Oh, why not? Why not? I think entrepreneurship goes everywhere, every sphere, every sector, every size even. Like now, if I go in, I have to go in on a bigger scale, maybe take over a bigger bank. For example, entrepreneurship still there.
Hunger.
But I guess some people say, but today maybe the opportunities are even more. On the other hand, those days in the 60s, those tycoons that we have today in Malaysia, all the big successful business people, nearly all of them started very small. The economy just growing, country just growing. So that's how. So you can look back, all these people, the big tycoon, the successful people, look back 30, 40 years, they started all very small. Very few.
In those days, the fastest route or the most obvious routes were property, property-related development, trading. And very few people understood banking or financial services, and even fewer Malays were in banking financial services. So what was it about you special that you saw this? Is that yourself as a person, or is that an upbringing that gave you insights into what you saw?
Not really. I think my training as a chartered accountant, I am a financial man when I started, came back 21 years old. So I was exposed to the financial sector straight away. Trained for such, and then in Central Bank for 4 years, and then in Maybank. So, and then of course in your banking business in Maybank, you're dealing with the corporate world all the time. So very familiar, very comfortable, and then you start to think, what can I'm very comfortable at running financial institutions. So I said, okay, let's get one. So once I got into the investment bank, for example, automatically I was thinking, hey, why don't I do something like Malayan banking, build it into a conglomerate? And that was the thought, that would take me my lifetime. So, but that was it. That was the vision, that was the passion. I was building it. That was it.
And which aspect of financial services attracted you most, or which was your starting point? Was it the merchant bank aspect? And what about the commercial bank, the retail side?
Yeah, that was the last one.
Because that's where the rubber hits the road. That's where your funding cost is managed. That's where your customer base is
Yeah,
found.
but I think we built up our group. The core was the investment bank. In fact, the last bit in the conglomerate was the commercial bank. Not because on purpose, we couldn't get one. It was the last one, and unfortunately, I got it just a couple of years before the big crisis, the big crash. And the 2 years we got the commercial bank, we started trying to, of course, we paid a good price for it. So we had to get some profits. So we were dishing out a lot of corporate loans. And when the crisis came,
97.
97, 98, it's the corporates that got hit very hard.
Right.
So we got hit very hard.
And then you made you even more honest, and you pursued the retail instead. Or was that when you started looking at retail specifically more strongly?
Well, no, when we had the commercial bank, it was retail. There was retail part.
Right.
Once you're in, you have to be in it.
Right.